Brandon Cutler here from AEW, and I hope you guys have an awesome podcast with the MonsterCast.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful here. You're watching the MonsterCast with Jack and Ryan. A big shout out to those fellas. Good people. Check them out.
Here's your host of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster, Jack and Ryan.
Let's go ahead and start with what we were talking about right at the beginning when I said invested, right? It's official, dude. Did you watch SmackDown? It's official. At Elimination Chamber, live Saturday, February 18th in Montreal, Canada, Sami Zayn will go against Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. Obviously, this happened at the end of SmackDown, which was the best part of SmackDown, if we're being real. Just like Royal Rumble, the end was the best part of Royal Rumble. So no surprise. So what happened was throughout the show, I did like that it was like the old school Attitude Era where they slowly built it up throughout the show with the backstage stuff, where they first all came in together, and then Roman was backstage saying, "Where the hell is Jay?" No one knew where Jay was. He says, go fucking find him. Somebody needs to get in contact with him. Then later on in the show, he's trying to call him. It goes straight to voicemail. Has his phone turned off or whatever. They come back. He says, you know what? Don't worry about it. He said, we'll figure it out. I got to go address the WWE Universe. You guys go to catering and eat some sushi and some steak. Got some nice stuff lined up for you guys. And then when he gets out to the ring, he doesn't want to talk about Sami, which is the best part, because he has to focus on Cody, because Cody's the one that won the Royal Rumble. So he played that really nicely, I think, to acknowledge Cody, but then go to the whole thing that everybody wanted you to talk about, because we've been waiting all fucking week for this, obviously, because you're not going to talk about it on SmackDown because they're on Raw, rather, because they're SmackDown stars. So we had to wait all the way till fucking Friday to get this moment. And it did not disappoint, because Sami Zayn comes out, hooded up, and beats the shit out of Roman. And then he gets attacked by the returning Jimmy and Solo. And then he tells Roman first that he wants the match. And then they attack him. And then Roman comes back in, and they're about to fuck him up big time with the chair around his neck and stuff. And Roman stops him. And I thought it was really cool the way they shot the end part where he's talking to him in the corner, but it sucks for the people that were there because they didn't hear that. But I thought that was really good too.
He does a lot of those. There's always him having little talking segments in the ring.
What did you think of the progression of the story? Is that a necessary? It's like was that a significant enough step for you after what happened at the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they're setting up a match that didn't exist before, so sure. It does kind of feel like they're setting him up to lose, though. Like, nobody's going into this thinking Sami's about to win. Everybody's going into it thinking, okay, how are they gonna have Sami lose? Because you do have the whole Cody thing set up. They might do it into another Roman Reigns at WrestleMania triple threat match for the title, kind of like the Edge Daniel Bryan thing, but I don't know, man. I don't think anybody's going into this expecting Sami to win. So it furthers it in the sense that it makes something official, but I don't think it furthers it in the sense that you expect anything different to happen.
What do you think about the possibility, I've seen this floated around, of Roman having to fight both nights, defending each title, one against Sami at WrestleMania Night 1 and then Night 2 against Cody, where Cody finally takes one of the titles off of him?
Well, if you remember way back when, we talked about this. Sami wasn't involved at this point, but we had the same conversations a long time ago where we were like, well, he's technically got two belts. They haven't unified it into one belt yet. They could eventually do something where he has to defend each on each night of WrestleMania on a two-night thing. We were talking about that way back in the day because we knew Cody was going to come back and challenge for one of them. And I think the conversation we were having was basically around like, he doesn't really care about the Universal title because that's not the one his dad ever had a chance at winning because it didn't exist then or whatever. So that he would challenge for that one, and then whoever else was involved, which I think was McIntyre at the time.
Yeah, and then it worked out because the Universal one is the one that Roman cares about because that's the one he's held forever.
Right. That's his 800 and something fucking day. God, that's crazy to think about too. He's had that thing almost 3 years running. But yeah, it's they could do that. They could definitely do that. Whether or not they will, I don't know. I don't know that they want to split them back up. They should. They probably should.
I agree that they should as well. I don't know why this is such a big thing to do at this point. I mean, here's the thing though. The longer it goes with him having both, the harder it is going to be to split them up.
Well, I think the way that you do this is you have him wrestle Cody on night 1. And then he comes into the Sami match fucked up, and then that gives him a reason to lose the Sami match too.
So you think
like
you want him to drop both titles in at WrestleMania?
I think that makes the most sense if he's talking about leaving, right? He's already talking about almost being done, wanting to retire, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
that's why I find that weird to be the case with The Rock saying that, oh, he's leaving the door open for the next WrestleMania. Well, Roman might not be there at the next WrestleMania. So what door are you leaving open exactly? Because that's the match that everybody wanted to see. So it doesn't make any sense.
The Austin match.
I would, dude. I'm not even joking.
I know you.
I would be hyped for that match with the way that Austin performed, even though Owens did a lot of the work. With the way that he still had to do something. We talked about it on the show. Like, you still got to give Austin some kind of credit. He didn't go out there and shit the bed, right? So, not like Vince when he took the stunner again. So like, Austin did really good. I would. It doesn't have to be. I don't want it to be the main event. I'm not trying to take away from the other dudes, but like an actual, like, just a special attraction Legends match one more time at WrestleMania. Yeah, I'd be down for that. And only because part of me always wanted to see Triple H versus Rock at WrestleMania, and we never got that. And now Triple H obviously can't wrestle anymore. That's been taken out of his hands. So yeah, if the next best thing is Rock Austin 4, yeah, I'm down for it.
Bring Kurt Angle back, bro.
Kurt Angle's in DX right now, so he can't. He's not part of it.
Yeah.
Triple threat with Angle.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the falling back on the nostalgia shit constantly is one of the things that turns me off about them as a company.
Well, see, okay, so like I agree, but then it's not when it involves your biggest stars and they're doing something. Okay, so like, okay, for instance, like when The Rock came back and took the title off of CM Punk, I don't think that was needed to go fight Cena, if that makes sense. You had two generational stars in The Rock and Cena. You didn't need the title involved. So at the time, I didn't really agree with that. I thought that could have been the same type of deal with the Rock and Austin thing that I'm talking about right now. It didn't have to main event, but it could have been like it could have been a double main event. It could have been the second biggest match on the card, and then you could have the WWE Championship still mean something. It could have gone on last. I don't really care if it goes on last or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it didn't have to have everything involved into this one match with a returning star, if that makes sense. So, like, if it's just Rock and Austin with no titles involved, and it's just, so, like, in the middle of the card or right before I don't want to be right before the main event either, because it might take away from the main event, because people are going to be so fucking gassed up for that. But if it was on the card, like, I would have no problem with it. And especially with now WrestleMania being one night, or 2 nights rather. If it, like, main evented night 1, I'd be okay with that. But not night 2, not if it was one night main event, and that doesn't make any sense to me. But what you're saying, like, I think what you're saying is when they just rely on nostalgia as a crutch constantly, and they do that a lot with anytime they can throw an anniversary show out there and bring a bunch of old people back, people will tune in because you're not focused on making new stars, and then the people that you bring back that are quote-unquote legends are questionable at best, right? So, like, Rock and Austin aren't questionable. Those are legends. Those are stars. So if they can still go and have even a fucking 3.5 star match, I'm down for it.
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. It's just I wouldn't be watching it because I'd be super excited about it. It'd be one of those things that I watch to see if something goes wrong, like NASCAR.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. So yeah, like NASCAR. Okay. Speaking of NASCAR, the bit on SmackDown. I don't know if you saw my tweet or not, but I was actually it was campy as fuck, but I actually kind of liked it. It was different, new. It kind of reminded me like the WWF Superstars type shit with, like, when they used to film stuff with Mean Gene. Yeah, when they used to film stuff with Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan and shit, stuff like that, vignettes, old school vignettes and stuff. I thought it was funny. Not something I want to see every week, obviously, but just randomly thrown in there. And of course, you already know the connection between NASCAR and Fox and SmackDown, so that's why it was even in there to begin with. But anyway, so You say that Sami Zayn's not going to beat Roman. I say that as well, obviously. Do you think this is where Jey Uso comes back and eventually turns on Sami to set up the Sami Kevin Owens versus Usos match at WrestleMania?
Maybe. I mean, they could also have him come back and still be conflicted and set up the whole thing with him and Roman.
We do still have 2 more weeks, so like him not showing up for 2 more weeks seems far-fetched. So I feel like we're gonna get a good sense of if he's gonna turn or not within the next 2 weeks if and when he shows back up before the pay-per-view. Like you'll be able to tell.
Yeah. And then obviously a lot of people are still talking about they're setting up the tag angle or whatever with him and Owens versus the Usos, but I don't know. I don't really like that. There was a time where I think that could have worked, but I think that
Sammy's popularity surpassed that.
Right.
But here's the thing: is if you're already handcuffed to the Cody versus Roman thing now, especially announcing the Elimination Chamber match. So you can't say Cody versus Roman at Elimination Chamber instead of WrestleMania, right? So that's out the door. So if there's no other spot, you cannot have Sami Zayn not be on the card at WrestleMania. So what? Sami versus Jey in a singles match?
No, we already this is what we're talking about. Though they could split it into the 2 belts thing and have Sami on night 2 or whatever.
No, so that's what you want them to do. You would rather.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm just saying the tag team thing doesn't really fit anymore. Like people are talking about them.
Also, I got a question for you. If let's say they did the tag team match at WrestleMania, right? And Sami and Owens wins, which we all think would happen if that match was announced. How does Roman respond to the Usos dropping the titles to Sami and Owens? You get what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck does he do? Kick everybody out the bloodline?
Well, he's not gonna be able to say shit because he's gonna lose to Cody.
They should have Solo go. They should have Solo have a match at WrestleMania and have him like win the IC or the US title or something and be the only one with gold, so he can't. So it's like, I guess I'm the tribal chief now, motherfucker.
I'm the head of the table, boys. Yeah, maybe. No, I think that if Usos are losing, Roman's definitely losing. They're not gonna have them. It wouldn't make sense to set all that up just to have the Usos still win.
See, I think the Elimination Chamber match has. So obviously, it's going to have some fuckery involved in it, right? It's a Roman match. So, and it's in Montreal, so you have to do something to make Sami still look like he's going to have a shot and get that false finish that everybody's going to want. And that's going to involve Kevin Owens, obviously, who's going to be off TV probably next week too, but he might come back the week right before the pay-per-view because he's obviously selling the injury from Royal Rumble. So, I think there's a good chance that if they do go the night 1, night 2 Roman title defenses at WrestleMania, that he's gonna still have the Universal title. I think he still beats Sami at WrestleMania too.
I don't know. I think if
the
you do the
reports
Cody
are
match
saying
first,
that Triple H and Vince do not see him as the face that we talked about last week when I was like, you don't have to see him as the face to have.
Yeah, but Jinder Mahal wasn't the fucking face either.
Yeah,
you
no, I
just
agree.
made him a champ for reasons. Like it doesn't
Jinder
have
Mahal
to be.
didn't win at WrestleMania in the main event either.
Yeah,
He won against Randy Orton in some throwaway bullshit pay-per-view. No way out.
Wasn't
or
even a
whatever.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he went on television to set up the pay-per-view in India. Or
Maybe,
whatever
I don't
they
know,
were doing.
but it was definitely wasn't WrestleMania regardless, so it doesn't matter.
You know,
And Jack
Jinder
Swagger
deserves
didn't win
his
at
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania either.
When does Jinder get his WrestleMania? I would hate to see them set all this up just to do the tag thing, and I would hate to see them set all this up just to be like, yeah, Sami's not the guy, so we can't put the belt on him for any period of time. You could always have him win, and then build up your next guy by taking him out, like whoever you want that to be.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.